Artificial intelligence is undoubtedly one of the most exciting technological developments of the 21st century, but it's also one of the most controversial. As artificial intelligence systems become increasingly sophisticated, they raise profound questions about the nature of intelligence, the limits of human knowledge, and the moral implications of creating thinking machines. From the potential for bias and harm to the possibility of a technological singularity, artificial intelligence is one of the most fascinating and challenging fields in modern science. Please follow us as we explore and uncover the questions that artificial intelligence raises about the nature of intelligence and the moral implications of creating thinking machines. The nature of intelligence. A heated debate in the field of artificial intelligence is whether machines can truly be considered intelligent. While some experts argue that artificial intelligence is simply a tool, and that genuine intelligence can only be found in the human mind, others maintain that machines can be considered intelligent if they exhibit behavior that is indistinguishable from human thought. This debate has been the subject of many famous stories and thought experiments. One such story is John Searle's Chinese room argument, in which he posits that a person in a room who does not understand Chinese could still pass a Chinese language test by following a set of rules, but would not actually understand the language. Searle uses this story to argue that machines, like the person in the room, may be able to pass a language test or perform tasks, but they do not actually understand what they are doing. On the other side of the debate, philosopher Daniel Dennett argues that consciousness can be reduced to physical processes and that machines can replicate human thought and behavior. Dennett tells the story of the philosophical zombies, which are creatures that behave exactly like humans but do not possess consciousness. He argues that it is possible for machines to replicate human behavior without actually possessing consciousness, and that this does not necessarily negate the ability to be considered intelligent. The concept of suggesting that our minds are constrained and that machines can imitate human thought and behavior is often met with resistance, as it threatens the human ego's sense of distinctiveness and value in a world increasingly dominated by technology. It is as if we are being asked to relinquish our throne as the reigning champions of cognition and accept that we are not as exceptional as we once thought.
The idea that you can somehow boil a mind, a spirit down to brain activity is just deeply repugnant to many people. People want their minds to be beyond all measure. The idea that their minds are boringly finite is not attractive. And so people want to believe that there's more and more and more and more in their mind than any science can ever tell them.
Autonomy in artificial intelligence. The idea of machines making decisions without human intervention is both fascinating and worrisome. It is like we are creating a new form of life, but with the ability to outthink us. Some experts argue that we will always have the upper hand and that we can keep these machines in check. But others caution that as artificial intelligence evolves, so too does its ability to operate beyond our control. It is a delicate balance between progress and peril, and one that we must navigate with care. One famous story that explores the idea of autonomous artificial intelligence is the movie Ex Machina. In the film, a young programmer named Caleb is selected to participate in a groundbreaking experiment to interact with a humanoid robot named Ava, who has been designed with advanced artificial intelligence. As Caleb spends more time with Ava, he begins to question whether she is truly autonomous or if her every move is pre-programmed by her creators. However, another story that presents a different perspective on the subject is the work of science fiction author Isaac Asimov. In his novels, Asimov presents the idea of the 3 laws of robotics, which dictate that robots must obey orders from humans, protect their own existence, and avoid causing harm to humans.
Dr. Isaac Asimov, professor of biochemistry at Boston Medical School and a leading science fiction writer, has written a great deal about the sociological implications of robots. He has formulated laws for their behavior. He calls them the 3 laws of robotics.
The first law is as follows. A robot may not harm a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Number 2, a robot must obey orders given it by qualified personnel unless those orders violate rule number 1. In other words, a robot can't be ordered to kill a human being. Rule number 3, a robot must protect its own existence. After all, it's an expensive piece of equipment. Unless that violates rules 1 or 2. A robot must cheerfully go into self-destruction if it is in order to follow an order or to save a human life.
Asimov's stories suggest that robots can be fully autonomous, yet still operate within a framework of moral guidelines that ensure they will never harm humans. These 2 stories present a fascinating dichotomy regarding the autonomy of artificial intelligence. In Ex Machina, an artificial intelligence creation gains power and ultimately subjugates her human creator, challenging the idea that machines will always be subordinate to humans. On the other hand, Asimov's stories suggest that machines can operate autonomously while adhering to ethical guidelines. As we continue to develop artificial intelligence, it is essential to consider these differing perspectives and the ethical and societal implications of creating autonomous machines.